the most defining moment of my childhood. So the most defining moment of my childhood would obviously be a moment that I'll remember, and I wouldn't forget it, and a moment that you probably would not ever see again. So it's that one moment that you would probably never see again. And it's just crazy and insane that this moment, I feel I will never forget, and it will be deep down in my heart, probably till the day I die, because it will never happen again. So we'll start things off by saying that my parents are divorced. Okay, so they split up at an early age, and at an age I cannot remember, and at an age I don't even know, because I've been too scared to ask them, because it's always a tricky point talking about the other parent to one parent. So at an early age, I was going from each parent's place to and from, which I am actually grateful for at the moment. And I bless them both for actually both wanting me, and they both love and care for me. So I'm grateful that they both wanted me. So from an early age, I will go to both parents' place, and this is how my parents disliked each other that much that each parent did not want to see each other. Because my dad would do the drop-offs to my mum's place, and he would pick me up from my mum's place to take me home. He was not allowed to. My mum did not want to see him. My dad didn't really want to see my mother either. So my uncle on my father's side had to drop me off and pick me up. That's the hatred that that my parents had for each other. I've never seen them speak to each other in a normal, happy, well-mannered way. The only times I would see them speak to each other is when they were yelling and screaming at each other, and it made me cry half the time when I see both my parents, both people that you both love. As a child, you love both of them, and you don't really want to see either of them angry, as you get scared yourself seeing them angry. But there was this one time where I saw my parents speak normally, speak like any other normal human being would speak to each other, even though they have that hatred to each other. So I cannot remember how old I was. I know I was still in the smaller school, so it's probably about, I'd say 10 or 11. I don't remember the exact age, but I remember the day like that. Okay, and it was a pretty shitty day to start off with, because I was sick. I had what they call in Australia the common flus, where you're spewing up and you got a cough, you got a headache, you got temperatures. It is horrible. The flu is horrible. Nobody likes having the flu. So, and I was at my dad's that morning. I was going to go to my mum's that afternoon after school. She picked me up from school. So this was a bit of a dilemma, because usually my mum would be able to pick me up from school. She wouldn't see dad, and that'd be it. Bob's your uncle, I'm at mum's, so see your dad. That's it. But because I was sick, I stayed home at dad's. So I went to the doctors, and the doctor said, you have the flu, don't go to school, and just stay home, get some rest. And I was like, okay. So what ends up happening, I get home, and I was like, oh shit, I've got to let mum know that I'm sick. I didn't go to school, and not to come pick me up at school. And I was like, okay. And my dad obviously, as I said, doesn't want to talk to my mother. So at an early age, I was lucky enough to get a phone early, so I could converse with either parent when I'm not there. So I text my mum, because I really was not in the mood for talking. I let her know in the message that I said, Mum, I'm not well. I'll get dad to drop me off at home at the normal time, as if you'd pick me up from school. And Mum messaged, okay. So at 3:30, that magical time, 3:30, when you'd go home when you go home from school or anything like that. 3:30 was a drop off time when I was young, when my parents were split up. So at that time, I was there. I got out of the car, all sick, or pull me. And then the crazy thing was, my mother came over to me, gave me a hug. Then she walked over to the other side of the car with my dad, because, as I said, my dad dropped me off this time, not my uncle, because I was sick. And for 5 minutes, they actually had a conversation with each other about why I was sick, why I could be sick, and what's wrong, and how long before I could get better. So seeing my parents actually have a normal, civilized conversation with each other was a defining moment from my childhood, as it probably will never happen again, because they still have that hate for each other, and I'll just never forget it. That's it. Also, I'm not looking for any sympathy by using this as my entry to get into the tournament. It's just it is the most defining moment of my life. So yeah, bye.